Today on the Great White Shark Experience podcast, we have Emily and Nakia. Based in Zavora, Nakia founded Mara Expeditions, as well as working for the Marine Megafauna Foundation. Nakia is a PhD candidate studying the movement ecology of Manta Rays in southern Africa. Emily is also a marine biologist that is currently working in the UK for Natural England, but is about to move out to Mozambique full-time to work for Mara Expeditions. Today we talk about tagging manta rays and their crazy diving experiences in Zavora. So, Nakia, Colleen and Emily Eaton, welcome. Welcome to the podcast. How are you guys?
Very good. How are you, Mark?
Awesome. I can't complain. It's a bit wet outside, but apart from that, it's it's not too bad. It's not too bad. So you guys both started here in Mossel Bay.
Mm-hmm. We did.
As White Shark Africa interns with the White Sharks. What's it like to be back?
Very nice to be back.
Yeah.
I was here in 2014, long time ago. It's really nice.
Good.
I went on the boat yesterday.
2014. So what were the sharks like then?
Oh, there were a lot of sharks then.
A lot of sharks.
Yeah, it was really nice. And then I've been back obviously a few times since then.
Yeah. You're a local, aren't you, really? You disappeared for a while, but you come back,
Yeah, it's my third home.
Yeah. And Emily, you were here in 2018 then.
Yeah, so I came out here and did my research dissertation for uni, and then fell in love with the place, and then came back in 2020 and decided to fight through the pandemic here, and we'll live it out.
Smashed it though.
Yeah, I did really well.
You stayed out for a long time and then went back
in 2021.
Yeah.
And then come back again now.
Yeah. Now you two are like the queens of Zavora in Mozambique. Queen of Manta Rays.
Yeah.
So Nakia, you run Mara Expeditions.
I do.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so Zavora, Mozambique, very, very remote place, which most people probably haven't heard of. If you know tofu, maybe.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's like 2 hours south of there. So I moved there in 2016 and took over the Zavora Marine Lab, and then kind of simultaneously founded Mara Expeditions, which is like an internship program / research expeditions where people can come and dive with me. I also work for the Marine Megafauna Foundation, and I'm doing my PhD, so it's a lot of cool research happening. I get people to come out and shadow me in the field, help me in the field.
That's insane.
Yeah, lots of different projects and mantas.
So go on, tell us a bit more about your research, because that's pretty insane. you glossed over that like it was nothing. Like, I just went with manta. So what's your PhD in as well?
So kind of the theme is the movement ecology of manta rays in southern Africa.
Okay.
So it's not just Mozambique. I'm doing a little bit of stuff in South Africa as well. Essentially, I want to look at where they're moving, where they're spending most of their time, kind of identify these critical habitats, look at overlap with marine protected areas. So how much time are they actually spending in marine protected areas, and if they're effective. And then kind of throwing a climate change component into there so that I can kind of see how climate change is going to affect their movements in the future.
So any data on that so far, or is it too early to say? Or you can't even talk? Can you talk?
I'm in the early stages, so I'm just tagging them now.
Yeah.
Research takes time, so gotta wait for the tags to come back, the data to come back, and then I'll start having some hopefully cool results.
And now you're heading to Mozambique.
Yeah.
You've been before, haven't you?
Yeah. So I came and visited twice now. So obviously during the pandemic as well, I couldn't go, when I got offered a job in the Seychelles, I couldn't go straight there because South Africa is red listed. So I was like, okay, this is a perfect opportunity. I was like, can I come and stay by you? And she's like, yeah, I've been telling you to come this whole time. I'm like, come. So eventually I came through, and I got there and I was like, okay, wow, this is like not a culture shock, but it's like, she warns people. She's like, okay, you need to prepare, like, bring all the food you can, like, bring everything you want.
There is nothing.
Nothing. And they're like, okay, where's the shop? And it's like, oh, the market's like 40 minutes away. They're like, oh, can you get coffee? Like, all these different things. They're like, no.
Fruits and veg.
Yeah, but the diving is just insane. And, obviously the project she's got going on and stuff, it's just amazing to be involved in it and help out. And obviously the internship program, we get to meet loads of cool people. Yeah. They're really interested in marine life. They're really positive and they love diving. But the conditions there are challenging. So it's only for the brave.
Yeah, no, I believe so. It seems incredible. Like, I've seen the lodge on your Instagram feed and everything, and it looks like idyllic. It's like in the middle of nowhere, on the beach, on sandy. Well, it's not on the beach, but it's just set back
just behind the dune. Yeah.
It looks incredible, but being that remote must take its toll on people.
Yeah, it's funny watching people like adapt, you know, like they come in, they're like wide-eyed, where am I? And then they just, I don't know, they kick off their shoes and then they get in the vibe, and it's so nice to see.
Culture shock to start with, and then
and then they don't want to leave. They're like, I love this place. Yeah.
It's weird when that happens, because then you go back to like a first world country and everything sort of feels fake. It doesn't feel real, does it? Like you go into like a shopping mall or something like that, and it's like sensory overload.
Even the supermarkets, like it's just like you can get all this stuff, like
so overwhelming.
I don't have to drive 2 hours.
Exactly. When I went back from, like, I was in Mozambique during the pandemic, so I hadn't been to the first world in like 4 years. I'd come to South Africa once, which is obviously like pretty much
middle.
Like, so when I went back to Canada, I was like, what the heck is this place? So overwhelming.
It gets too much, doesn't it? It can get very people-y.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you've spent that long in like a remote place.
By yourself too, you know, I'm like
little Africa bubble.
TIA.
Literally.
No, awesome. So when do you head out? Emily, when do you
Essentially June, we're hoping. We just need to go over logistics about like the visa situation and stuff, because it's more challenging that side to get all the permits correct and everything. So if everything goes well and that all happens, then hopefully June.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
And so when you research the mantas, what do you do? Like how do you research them? What's your...
I do a few different things. So mantas have a specific spot pattern on their belly. So we can use photo ID, which is essentially just like a fingerprint for humans. So I have like a database with, you know, all the individuals that we've ID'd, which is growing. I think we're at like 675 different mantas. That's just in our bay. That doesn't include like, you know, the bays like tofu and stuff like that. So there's quite a few around, and then with the tagging project, I use both acoustic and satellite tags to track their movements, and that's all done like free swimming. So in South Africa I free dive, and then in Mozambique I scuba, just based on the permits and conditions and stuff. So I have like a Hawaiian sling, and the tags on the end of it, and I just go up from behind it.
But you must see her when we're on the boat in Mozambique. She's like, okay, she's got the pole, she's got a GoPro, got a camera, like all this stuff is taking out tags everywhere. And then underwater, like we see something, like okay, the manta's coming, or like a small ice stingray or something. She's just like, give me all the stuff. And I'm like holding it, like okay.
And it's expensive stuff, so like I have to trust the person I'm handing things to. Like this $5,000 tag, please do not drop it.
I don't want that job. $5,000. And then you drop it, and you're just seeing it sinking to the bottom of the ocean.
And it's not shallow dives either. You're talking about 30 meters, and obviously the animal's swimming down. So you've also got to like watch your limits as well. But you're just like, no, I need to get this animal like.
Get it, So satellite tags, do they need to break the surface to ping or no?
There's a few different kinds. So the ones that I'm using for the mantas are called mini pats. They're pop-off archival tags. So because mantas don't breach the surface often, essentially they kind of log and archive all the data based on the light, the temperature, the depth, and then you set it to pop off at a certain time. So I program them for 6 months, and then they release, and then I get a notification from the satellite, from Argos, and they say, your tag has popped off, and then I can get the data from the satellite. But if I get the physical tag back, then I get even more data, because it has like, so that, it only can transmit a certain amount of messages. So if I get the tag back, then I get like more fine scale.
Do you get many of those back?
I put out 6 this season, and I got 3 back, so that is not bad.
That's a good average. For something like I can imagine it's small as well.
Like, the good thing is if it pops off, then you get a notification and you can track it. So as long as the battery is alive, so then you can kind of see where it's popped off and where it's moving.
It's against the clock. Go get it quick.
And like usually it's in remote places, and you just like, it could be one I was tracking and the battery died, and it was literally almost in Cape Town.
Oh really?
I was like,
so does somebody go collect that for you, or do you drive down to Cape Town?
I would have to. You just gotta hope that you have connections in these places. Like obviously, if I see it coming like Mossel Bay, I would hit you guys up and be like, look for this tag. But it really depends on where it is.
If it's here, it's probably inside something. Oh, awesome! No, it's absolutely fascinating, and you've got some interesting stories as well. Like from your dives and things, you're seems like
Our encounters
quite the place to dive.
have been insane. Like the mantas are one thing, seeing them like getting clean and stuff on the stations, and just like actually appreciating the animal like here in front of you, like going over you. But the whales, the humpbacks there are just insane. Like we had a really amazing season basically, where like they were just everywhere all the time. Was it 12 times on scuba?
Yeah.
Humpback whales.
Yeah. Like, and we had these. Oh, it was one day like we go down to, was it Yogi's or Dean's? Dean's. It's like one of the deep reefs there. And
this was not good.
no, but, so I have a student with me there, and this is supposed to be her deep dive. So
Yeah.
I'm with her, and I'm trying to like, this is going to be like a near enough qualifying dive. And so she goes down with Zini, one of our guys who works for her, and they go down with the buoy line. So I'm like, okay, perfect. So me and my student drop, and she's like, no, I can't do this. I'm like, okay, back on the boat. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, you can't dive. I'm like, no, I'm going down. So I'm like bombing it down his buoy line, and I'm literally like, okay, I can't see anything. There's nothing around. It's like green and like 2 meter viz. And anyway, I get down to the bottom, and I'm like, hey, and they're like, oh, we're gonna go up now. And I'm like, oh, fine, whatever. Like, so we literally start ascending, and then we must have get to like what 20 meters. And like the whales are loud there, eh? Like they vibrate your soul, like you can hear them, like feel them.
They can hear each other from like hundreds of miles away, can't they?
Yeah.
When you're next to one.
Exactly. So they go deathly quiet. You're like, okay, hang on, this is weird.
Yeah, because they're singing the whole time you're underwater. Like from June to October, it's so
noise.
loud. Yeah, it's so beautiful.
That's insane.
And then I don't even know what happened now, but like I'm looking at Zini
They
has the
followed us
buoy
up
line
for 20 minutes.
Yeah, these two whales are just dancing around us, and their fins are going like this, like around like our fins as well, and they're like just maneuvering around us and basically just essentially fucking with us. Like literally just like hello. And because the viz is so bad, they come here and they disappear. It's actually quite creepy. So literally all
giant
just
whale in
spinning
your face.
around. She's screaming underwater. I can hear like. But yeah, for like 20 minutes, these two whales are just dancing with us. Like it's amazing.
It's a hell of a safety stop, isn't it?
It was.
Everybody's usually waiting for them to finish. And I'm not going up.
But yeah, that was something.
That was an amazing encounter.
Do you get those a lot then? So those kind of experiences, or are they still?
So in whale season, like it happens.
Yeah.
That experience was probably, and 7 years or 7. This will be my 8th whale season. I've had quite a few encounters underwater.
Yeah.
But like that was
Special.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
20
that was
minutes. Like
different.
usually they'll like swim by, sometimes come around
Check.
and check you out. But 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like it was
They were
crazy.
just bored and
Constantly,
playing.
they're just like, what are you? They're like going over our bowls and stuff.
It was
Like,
really cool.
yeah, really.
It's insane.
Yeah.
You had a personal experience with a humpback whale.
Yeah.
Not many people can say that.
That's true.
I can actually probably say I probably nearly died more times by a humpback whale than anything else.
You went with great white sharks, you died with a humpback whale.
Yeah, it's the size and the sheer thing of coming towards
Yeah.
you. Because we also did the Sardine run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh,
the
yeah.
encounters we had there was just insane as well. But that's all free diving, so we're just like,
Can't breathe. So when did you do that? You went off Port St. John. Oh, Port
Last
St. John's.
June, yeah.
Last June.
Yeah. July. End of June, July.
Yeah.
And you went off Port St. John's, and
Yeah, I ran an expedition there, and
and that was through our expeditions.
Yeah. And then we went down. We did like a safari in Shishlui and stuff, and then we dove in Aliwal, and then went down to Port St. John's. It was a lot of driving.
Yeah.
I imagine it's a long way though.
Yeah, and I drove all the way from Mozambique, so it was,
and then
it was fun.
drove back to Mozambique as well.
Ah, no.
It was a lot of driving.
Yeah.
I counted like it was like 57 hours of driving or something.
Use that punishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
But it was just podcast after podcast after podcast. Music, all these. I'm like, I'm running out of playlists. Like,
There's not enough songs. I've finished YouTube already. So how was that? How were those experiences compared to? Well, obviously you've had insane experiences all up and down the coast, but how was that? Because that's meant to be one of the most incredible natural phenomenons in the world, isn't it?
yeah.
Cold.
It was cold.
Cold.
It's like 9 hours on a boat, isn't it? Constantly.
Yeah.
You don't get off.
Chilly.
But it's also just like, oh man, the bait balls were there, but the viz wasn't on our side.
No.
So you could see the gannets like just diving down. It was amazing, and you could see the dolphins.
They shit me up because I'm always terrified that one of those, that they come down and dive in your
Yeah.
head. You game over.
And you can literally, you're sitting there on the boat and you're watching this thing, you hear them just go, like, it's loud, they're like everywhere, like shit. And the dolphins are going crazy as well, but then you get in the water and you're seeing this thing on the surface, you're like, oh my god, this is amazing, we're getting our fins on, like getting our stuff on as quick as we can, and then get in the water, we're like, oh, can't see anything.
It's actually better on the boat. Yeah. But no, it was really, really cool. We had we were called the Humpback.
Yeah.
Or the whale. No, the cetacean. Because we had dolphins. And not just common dolphins. It was like... Pantropical, which are super rare to see underwater. We had them and bottlenose and really, really crazy humpback encounters. Near-death experiences.
Basically.
Shoot.
Yeah.
You had the...
Go on.
So
I want to hear this one.
we're on the boat and they're like, okay, there's whales coming in from this way.
Yeah.
So like Ken, like our skipper, he like drives us over this way, and I get in the water, and you were in this one as well.
Which one? The one with the dolphins?
Yeah. So I see her and we start swimming, but then like I thought we're going towards this whale that we're seeing coming towards us, but actually there's dolphins coming this way. So I'm like, okay, so I'm going to start going this way. So I'm like filming, and I can hear all the clicking and everything, and the dolphins are moving, and I'm like, wow, this is so amazing. And then she's face on, hey, they're coming through me. And then I look now and I'm like, shit, whale, like swimming straight
like
towards
huge whale face.
Yeah, literally straight towards me. And I'm like, fuck, so I like drop my GoPro, I'm like trying to swim away, like.
You dropped it?
Well, like the
You
stick
nearly
on
did,
around my wrist, but like I flapping, trying to get out of the way of this thing, and I'm just the footage of it just swimming past and just staring at me the whole time as well. It's like, what are you doing? Get out of my way! Like, yeah, that's insane.
Yeah,
that's mad.
I have a very I think humpbacks terrify me more than anything. Like they're just so big and they're so friendly, and it's fine, but you just wrong place, wrong time.
It's like the sharks, isn't it? Wrong place, wrong time. And then they wouldn't even. They just bumped you, break your arms or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's so powerful.
Yeah.
But you also notice as well when you're in the water with them, like they know where you are, like, and they maneuver around you.
They're so agile.
Yeah, they really do know. Because we had it as well. Like there was other people on the expedition with us, and they were in the water, and we're watching you from the boat, and we're like, oh my god, like same thing again. This whale comes straight towards them, but like she matrixing around them.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my god, they're all gonna die. Like the tails.
She kind of came up underneath them because they were all like at the surface looking, and she came and just. I thought I was gonna lose 3 of my interns. It's terrifying.
Jeez.
But, yeah, no, really, really cool. So many whales. It was such a good season.
Yeah. So what's next for more expeditions and you guys then? What's on the cards for 2023 and onwards?
I'm running a trip to Socorro in Mexico. That's in end of May. So that's like my first big kind of overseas trip. Like in Africa. Yeah. So I'm excited for that. And then, it'll just be, so my busy season is like June to October, which is nice because it's whale season and manta season. Yeah. So that's usually when I get a lot of the interns and stuff coming through. Same old.
Same old.
Yeah.
Keep
collecting data
on those mantas.
Yeah. And there's a lot of other projects I run too. Like we do nudibranch research, we do artificial reef colonization, we do shark and ray research.
So
there's a lot of different projects that I do, and the mantas are obviously my thing. Manta. But it's such a special bay, and I'm the only one working there, right? So I feel like I just need to get as much information as possible. Because things are declining, and I can see that year after year, and so I'm just trying to get as much information as possible, and then get it out there, get it to government, and hopefully inform some sort of policy.
Is that kind of an optimistic? Is that like something that's like achievable? Like
it is, and there's been like MMF or Marine Megafauna Foundation. They have been there for a long time. I just started working for them a few years ago, but their work over the last 15-20 years has led to mantas getting protected and whale sharks getting protected, and like all of these awesome accomplishments. So it's definitely within reach, and I think the government is starting to see the importance of protecting. We have very, very little marine protection. Yeah, we only have like 5 MPAs, and it's a huge coastline. It's like the second or third longest coastline in Africa. So it needs protection. And I did a podcast a few weeks ago. I think it was with Esther and Lynette, and with the Fire Island Conservation. And they were saying that the Coast Guard up there doesn't even have a boat. Oh no. That's the thing. If you can get even an MPA, there's no one there to enforce it, and there's no resources. It's a very, very poor country and stuff. So, but there's a lot of Western countries that are dabbling in Mozambique and stuff I believe like that. Both good and bad. Like there's ones that are trying to help, and then there's ones that are exploiting, but but
always seems like that two-handed give and take at the same time. It's never just a helping hand. There's always like that trade-off, isn't there?
But it's an amazing country that it has so much diversity and stuff, and it needs to be protected before it's
protected.
Yeah.
It sounds incredible. I think this whole coastline, from all the way down from Cape Town all the way up to
it's amazing,
Mozambique and even further, all the way up that coast.
Just gets warmer and
warmer. The east coast. It's so much life though, isn't there, at the moment? Let's hope it stays like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Even like she does like predatory fish surveys and like some of the sizes of fish down there and like just the different types and species and like even the sharks
some of the white sharks make it up there.
Wow.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Unfortunately, my white shark encounter in Zavora was one being pulled in a net by the locals.
I think I heard about this.
So that was really, really hard. But they do see them on dives like around my area and stuff from time to time.
Occasionally.
But it's pretty cool. I had a raggy the other day too. I was like,
what
are you doing here?
You're a bit lost, mate. Go that way.
Keep swimming.
Yes, you never
they
know.
do that warm water though, don't they? Durban gets quite warm. Obviously not quite as warm as Zavora, I would say, but...
Yeah, actually don't know how... it would, I think. They're very similar. But actually, it was... I don't know what the temperature was. But very, very strange.
Yeah. We had a basking shark here.
You told me.
And makos, in the bay, which is pretty unusual.
When was the basking shark?
During Shark Week, so probably June-ish. I think, June, July... Yeah, I think it was June.
I bet you're all like, it's a white
end
shark.
Of June.
And it's like, no.
Oh, Andy Casagrande was like, it's too... at first they thought it was a 5-6 metre white shark. They were like, it's massive, it's huge, this is a giant. And then they thought, no, it's too big. It's two white sharks swimming together. And then they were like, huh? It's a basking shark. What the fuck? The video is incredible. Everyone just bursts out laughing.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That'd be so cool to see. Yeah, I think things are changing, hey? Like, we're seeing
so fast as well. Everything's moving, everything's changing place, things are going up, things are going down.
Exactly,
But you're also seeing that with the mantas, like they're slowly arriving later and later each time. Like from when she first started doing the data, like you can see the trend. Like, so...
Yeah.
It's a different kind of mantas, or do you...
There's two species.
Two species, yeah.
And we get both in Mozambique, which is really special because there's not many places in the world where you can see both species, like kind of same place, same time interacting with one another.
Yeah.
But the giant mantas, which are the more like elusive transient species, they have taken a hit. Like, we rarely see them anymore. So it's the majority of reef mantas that we see.
Do you know what's causing that, or?
I think majority is fishing.
Fishing, overfishing.
Bycatch and even target fisheries and stuff. And because they move so much further and so much more offshore, I think they're just more prone to it. So, it's really, really sad. But we do still see. We had a few this year, but it's still,
Not the same.
Not the same.
No. Shame.
Yeah. But, it's kind of depressing.
It is. Well, if you work in this industry, especially here, like the white sharks seem to be disappearing, and you realise how privileged you are to spend the time that you have with them, and that if they do disappear, like, which things look like they could do in different ways. You had that time, and you were fortunate enough to see them.
Yeah.
I mean, you obviously don't want them to, and you do everything you can to try and stop them, but like it's. Yeah, you realise how special it is.
Yeah, exactly. Never take it for granted.
No, never.
So, has any of your research gone to projects so far to try and create protection? Is that, or is it still in the works to?
There's been a couple. So we just published one on the mantas, and identified Zavora as like a critical area, which was part of the bigger picture of getting the Inyombon province as a Mission Blue Hope Spot, which is Sylvia Earle's thing.
Otherwall's one, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
So that was a huge step forward. Obviously, it's not like official protection, but just getting the recognition, that it is an important area and needs to kind of have these protection in place. So. What was your question? Sorry.
Your research.
And then we also did some with the sharks and rays as well. Kind of identifying these critical areas within the bay that should be prioritized. They're not there yet.
Yeah.
Again, there's like some people that have come in and tried to implement like locally managed areas and stuff, but it's just so hard to regulate and enforce. But it's a slow process. We're getting there. Yeah.
No, it's fascinating. So interesting. Yeah. But yeah, no, it sounds amazing, and we're definitely going to make a mission up there. Go dive.
Yeah, we said that all muscle bears going to come
just get like a big group and just do a whole tour of Mozambique and up the coast.
Yeah,
it'd be incredible.
Yeah. Even the whale sharks there, like, they are really beautiful.
Do you get a lot of whale sharks as well?
Not in Zavora.
No.
Tofu.
Yeah,
tofu.
Yeah, they still have quite a few, luckily.
It's kind of close, isn't it? Is it surprising that you don't get them in Zavora? Or?
Yeah, that's like one of the other kind of big mysteries, because we used to get them in Zavora.
Yeah.
Not as much as tofu, but so in tofu they have like this area really close to shore that I think is just like highly productive, and the whale sharks come and feed in there. We don't really have anything like that in Zavora, so I think what's happening is they're just kind of like swimming around our bay, not coming in. And also we have one dive boat, so we don't have as many eyes on the sea as like tofu, which has 5 dive centers, lots of boats launching lots of times a day. They talk to each other, they can find things. So yeah, it's a catch-22, because I love that Zavora is so remote, and when we go diving, it's like we're the only 2 humans in the water. Like,
it's also good and also bad. If anything goes wrong.
Exactly. But yeah, so the whale sharks, they're endangered, and their populations are declining quite drastically as well. But yeah, I think they're just...
Is that all over the world, or just in Southern Africa? Or?
All over the world, but I think Mozambique, and this is the same with the mantas, like their populations globally aren't doing well, but then you kind of focus in on Mozambique,
hotspots,
and they're probably one of the most threatened populations in the world. So yeah, and that's because of like the no regulation and all of these things. So no, it's a strange one. I don't know if it's going to get better anytime soon, but it's depressing. I know. It's you have your good days and your bad days.
I get it. No, it's definitely understandable.
Yeah, but again, like we said, like the research has led to protection of both the mantas and whale sharks and other species. Like before, like only white sharks were protected in Mozambique, the only shark species. Now there's like quite a few species that are being added to the list, so like it's slowly getting better.
Policy's getting there.
Yeah, it's getting there. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So.
Oh, amazing, fascinating. So and you came and as a massive contradiction, then did your nudie surveys as well. So sea slugs. You went from whales and manta rays to sea slugs.
Yeah, I mean, nothing against the nudies, but I prefer megafauna. But the person that I took over, so I like run the research center in Zavora, but there was someone there before me. Yeah. So when she kind of handed everything over to me, all the data, like everything that was there she was there I think for 7 years or something. But her passion was nudibranchs. So she pioneered all the nudibranch research in Mozambique, and one of her requests was to continue that project, which, I mean, nudies are always there. Megafauna, you never know. So it's an easy project to continue, and I mean, we have such amazing diversity of nudibranchs. Like, you see so many different species on each dive, and it's just like cataloging them and looking at trends over time and all of these things. We don't forget about the little guys.
No. They're beautiful.
They are. They're so stunning.
Beautiful, aren't they?
We also do some seahorse research too. So I try and, like I said, like do as much as I can. I collaborate on a lot of projects. I have my hands kind of in a lot of different things, which can be overwhelming because I'm really busy. But you just feel like I live in this one little small area, and whatever I can do to help these bigger projects.
Do a bit of everything.
Yeah.
No.
So
Yeah, no, it sounds idyllic. It really does.
Yeah.
So, but you did manage to get on the boat the other day and see some white sharks.
We did.
Was it good to see your white sharks again?
It was, yeah. It's been a while, hey?
It's only one, wasn't it?
We both said it as well, though, like, because we've been spoiled from before, and we've been in the cage, like, we've done all the things before, and, like, we know when the sharks are being hot on the bait and they're breaching and stuff.
Firing.
And then these ones come over and we're like, oh, cute. Like, they, like, come to the bait, chasing it a little bit, and then they leave. And then we're like, okay. And then it keeps happening. And everyone's like, oh, my God, that's amazing. And, like, hearing the clients and stuff when they talk about it, like, seeing their change of, like, when they first get on the boat and they're scared, or, like, have all these questions. And then afterwards, on the way back, they're like, yo, that was amazing. Like, never had an experience like this. And you're like, they weren't that great, but
you do have to pinch yourself sometimes. And, like, have a reality check. But, like, it's one of those that when you've seen those winter months when they are, like, flying out the water and, like,
natural
space rockets. you can't compare, can you?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's lovely to see them, and it's nice when they're swimming and they're beautiful in that crystal clear water at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, those rockets, those moments. Oh, I live for those days.
Yeah.
But yeah,
We were quite lucky the whole day, really, because we did a dive in the morning, and then it was
you went
really
to the point,
nice. No, we ended up going to Mitch.
Mitch's, yeah.
Yeah, just because the conditions weren't great around the point. But that was really nice. Saw an octopus and some shy sharks and stuff.
Awesome.
This is nice.
Yeah,
It's
nice
good.
warm.
Nice for Mossel Bay.
Yeah.
It's warm for Mossel Bay.
Yeah, 23 is warm for Mossel Bay.
It's toasty.
Yeah.
That's winter in Zavora. Actually,
Is
it's
it?
colder. Yeah, it's like usually 22 in the winter in Zavora.
It's bathwater. Do you need wetsuits?
Right now it's 27, so...
Do you actually need wetsuits?
Yes, I'm so cold in the winter.
Really?
I have to wear
22
layers.
degrees?
Yes. Layers, and on the boat, I bet you'd get cold.
Yeah.
I bet
Well,
you-
if you're moving on a boat, I can understand.
Yeah,
It's
no,
also-
but even underwater, and you're doing multiple
Yeah.
dives
Yeah.
right
Okay,
after another.
Yeah, I guess so. If you're in there for like
And
4 or 5
people
hours.
underestimate it. They're like, 22, 23. I was like, you're gonna get cold. I promise. I when I first moved there, I was in my 3 mil.
3 mil, yeah.
I was like, from Canada, that's fine. And I did that whole winter in a 3 mil, and then the next year I was like, I need a 7 mil. I'm so cold. Yeah.
Do you still dab in your bandana?
Always.
Always.
Yeah.
Same one.
The one that you
got a few.
Yeah, I've got quite a few, but
You left one here for a while.
Yeah.
Did it ever get back?
I'm.
Or did you lose it?
I'm thinking.
That's
I
a
don't know if I've
shame.
seen that.
Old
Yeah.
Faithful.
That's why I have so many. But I've got like my favorites. Like I have like a bunch of shark ones and
Yeah.
stuff.
The lucky ones
My
as
lucky
well,
ones. Yeah,
yeah.
ones that I know. Like if I wear this today, it's gonna be a good day.
Yeah.
That's why your gut feeling.
Yeah.
You told us about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's seen
You
it.
are-
She's seen
Honestly,
it,
we
yeah.
go back out again with Zavora, and we're going out on a dive, and she's like, I'm gonna bring as a satellite type with the small eyes.
Acoustic.
Acoustic, sorry, yeah. So she's like, I'm gonna bring in I'm gonna feel it, and I'm like, okay. She's like, doesn't look like there's any current. It looks really nice down there. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, the last time we dived this, I couldn't even get down to the bottom because the current was just pumping.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh god, and then Margot was also, or there was another person with us as well, wasn't there? And then they didn't dive.
What was that? I
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it ended up just being me and her. So we literally, and she bombs it down. She's like, gone.
To 30
Especially- yeah, she's got like these freediving fins now. So I'm like, okay. Nakia swimming normally is like, so I'm like, fuck, trying to like keep up with her. But anyway, like you can see in the water, I'm watching her. I'm like, okay, where is she looking? What's she doing? Because there's cool stuff like, and you see this cobra, and she's like pointing. She's like, right, okay, something's gonna come. But before this, she's on the boat, and she's like, okay, I've got a gut feeling we're gonna see a small eye stingray. And then literally we get down there, the first thing that happens, it just swims over, and I'm like, oh my god. And I'm recording her as well because she has to tag it as well. And I'm just like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, all these things. I'm like, wow, like.
This just happened.
Yeah.
The gut was right.
And they're so rare as well.
I was about to
like-
say, do you know what a small eye is?
I've seen pictures of them, but
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
I didn't know
yeah.
I didn't know they were
Super
rare.
elusive and
Yeah.
rare. We're doing actually the first study on small eyes in the world.
Yeah.
That was just released. I wasn't allowed to talk about it, but now that it's released, I think I'm
You can
allowed
talk.
to. I hope.
Yeah.
So they're what we think the biggest marine stingray.
Yep.
Their stinging barb is thick.
Yeah.
Massive. But they're so curious. Like they come, and they're pelagic as well, so they're like
Yeah.
constantly swimming in the water column. They come up to you, they clean at the cleaning station, sometimes with the mantas. They're so beautiful. You can also use photo ID for them. So yeah, we're also tagging them. So yeah, I think we see like maybe 10 a year, which is not bad, but
For a rare species.
yeah,
right?
diving 250 dives,
Yeah.
300 dives a year. So yeah, they're rare.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a really good encounter with that one.
That's insane.
Always trust their gut. I'm like, what's your gut say?
And if it does, I'm like, I don't know, I'm not feeling anything. I'm like, shit, dive. Yeah.
It's either that or the brandy. Not sure.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, no, it sounds fascinating, and your research sounds insane, and good luck for this year and next year. And yeah, Emily and Nakia. And I
you.
just want to
Thank
say
you.
cheers for coming on the podcast. Thank
Thanks
you
for
very
having
much.
us.
Pleasure.
And yeah, next time you're back in town, we'll do it again.
Yeah, sounds good. Maybe I'll have
Yeah,
results
cheers.
on the mantas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, go around the speakers.
Yeah, sorry for the weird glass. I broke my bottle.